It was 1960. I went to East New York Vocational High School. Hi, guys. Sorry, but and it was in East New York on off Atlantic Avenue and Fountain Avenue, and it had problems every day. I mean, you had to walk through the hallways in the streets like you were a badass, even if you weren't a badass. You had to stand up, or you're gonna get beat up, you're gonna get picked on, bullied on. So you had to pretend you're a badass, even if you weren't, So it kept them, kept people off balance a little bit, So. I go to school one day. Now, there was a few New Lots boys there. There was Lee Falk, Patsy Penna, Frankie Borgesano, Johnny Red, who was the leader of the Rebels, but he was one of us guys. And then the guys from Liberty Park, like Eddie Miner and Tommy Rorty, and every one of them had heart. So I didn't have to worry. Nobody really messed with us because of that, And don't forget, we're neighborhood guys. We could bring back 20 guys the next day and destroy you, Now, East New York was a vocational school, which I thought was great. I didn't have a great education. I wasn't good in school at all. So, but it was kind of a secondary learning school, where they taught you a trade, they taught you how to work, they taught you how to act. To me, it was better, than going to a art school or where you take up all these stupid little courses, prepare you for college. That wasn't me. I wasn't going to go to college. I knew I wasn't going to go to college. The secondary education was a great idea. I thought until the political system got involved and they made it a detention for bad guys too. So that just screwed up everything. Like typical. They dumped on East New York. They dumped them, and then they dumped on the school. I mean, they did it all. And one day I go to the bathroom on the third floor, and I'm in the bathroom, and these Puerto Ricans all walk in. They look at me and they go, I'm taking a piss, and I turn around, I wash my hands. They go, "New Lots, motherfucker." I go, "Yeah, that's right. You got a problem with that?" So they say, "Yeah, we got a problem, man." So this guy Eddie Torres from Cypress Hills, who was in grade school with me, nice guy, tough Puerto Rican guy. He comes in. He says, "Yo, Maricon, this is my amigo. Don't mess with him, And he said, "Well, we're not messing with you, Eddie. We just want him. He's New Lots." He goes, "No. You fight him. You fight me." So I said, "Now, what are you going to do now? You got a problem with me? Go ahead, do it. Do what you got to do. What you think you got to do. Let me see what you got. So they let us walk. They let us walk by. But Eddie told me, "Rich, you got to be careful with these guys. They got knives. They'll stab you. They'll look for you. There'll be there'll be 4 or 5 guys on one guy, and you're not going to survive it. They'll stab you. So I said, "Well, thanks for the heads up. I really appreciate it. Believe me, I know what I'm in for. So the next day, nothing happened. I mean, got dirty looks. People are giving us dirty looks and stuff like that. But it's fine. I don't care. So then the bell rings. We're ready to go home, and I go in the hallway, and there's Patsy and Frankie, Borgesano, and two tough guys. And Borgesano was tough, man, So, they said, "Did you hear anything?" He said, "Nah, we got a few of them in our class too, giving us some bad looks, So I said, "I will walk down together." Now, the hallways in East New York School were all concrete, no windows. It was concrete and steel, So there's no place to go. You get caught on a stairwell, you're done, So the 3 of us are walking down. As we're walking down, there's 5 Puerto Ricans walking up. They stop on the landing. We stop in the middle of the steps, and they look at us, and they go, "New Lots, motherfucker." I go, "Yeah, that's right, New Lots." The door behind us that we just walked out of, I hear boom, closes. There's 3 or 4 or 5 guys on the top, and I'm like, "Oh man, this is not gonna be good." They'll get hurt too, but I'm like, I don't care. I really didn't care. So like, next thing I know, Borgesano pulls out a gun. He's got a 38. Patsy Penna pulls out two switchblades, and I grab one, and they back off, and I'm like, I think it was Patsy pulled out the gun. I'm not sure. One of them. So Patsy pulled out the gun. Borgie pulled out switchblades. I grab a switchblade. I start walking downstairs. The first guy in front of me, bang! I got the blade in my hand. I hit him with a right hand. He hits the back wall. They all spread out. Patsy's got the gun on the two guys that are on the top, on the guys, the four guys that were on the top landing, and he said, "Yeah, do it, man. Let's see how many balls you got." You know, they didn't do nothing. They backed off. They went back through the door. We went down. We left. You know. Next thing I know, I mean, Patsy and Borgie, you know, they left school. I transferred to Thomas Jefferson, a liberal arts school, you know, where I didn't want to be. I mean, I was there maybe 6 weeks. I'm not even sure. It's in the book. But and then I quit. I was like, nah, I'm done with this. This ain't working for me. I'd rather go to work, you know. So, you know, I told my parents, I played hooky for a long time, you know, and then they finally found out, and I told them, no, I'm not going to school. I'm going to work on a butcher full time. So that was cool. That was cool. I mean, I was 15, you know. So you know, I'm working in a butcher shop one day, and I told my uncle, you know, that I had to go to I got to go to Blake Avenue and buy some jeans for work, you know. So he says, all right, go ahead, take off. This is slow down. So I get on my bike, and I'm sorry, I didn't have my bike there. I walk to Blake Avenue, which was like 2-3 blocks, you know. It's not far, you know. Again, you don't want to take your bike because you got to bring it inside, you know. So I go in, I get two pairs of jeans and a sweatshirt, you know. And as I'm walking out, these two Puerto Ricans, they look at me and they go, "New lots, Sam, motherfucker." I go, "Yeah, that's right, new lots," you know. He said, "Well, what do you got in your bag?" I said, "You want to see?" So the one guy walks up, and I got the bag in my left hand, and I put out my left hand. And he goes to grab it. As he goes to grab it, bang! I crack him in the head. I crack him in his head. He don't go down, but I think I broke his nose. It felt like I broke his nose. He held his face, and he just turned and ran. The other guy, which is like my size, he hits my legs, and he drops me to the floor. He went down on me, and he dropped me right to the floor. He gets on top of me, but I held him close to me, and I'm hitting him with like 10 right hands, biting his face and hitting him like bang, 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 and biting his face and bang. He never threw a punch, man. He was strong, trying to get up, but he couldn't get up. You know, I held him down. So I just rolled him off me, and then he was done. He was face down on the sidewalk. So I walked back to the butcher shop. I'm fine. I don't have a drop of blood on me. And then I put on my apron. My friend Richie Rossi was there. My Uncle Frankie and two Italian women were there buying meat, you know. And the butcher shop had sawdust on the floor. One of them old time, really cool. A grocery shelf on the right, cabinets on the left. You know, we kept the displays of meat. Cabinets in the back, kept all the displays, sausage and stuff like that. And I want to tell you something too. Before Rocky, I used to go to my uncle's icebox. We had Heinz of beef. That was way before Rocky. I used to bang that because it felt like a human, you know. I used to bang them, hook them, bang them. My uncle goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I love this. I love being in the icebox banging these things." That was way before Rocky did it, you know. But I digress here. So now I'm in the butcher shop. All of a sudden, this Puerto Rican kid comes in with a machete, and he yells, he runs in the store. The two old ladies run behind the counter. My uncle and two old ladies, they're like, they don't want to put anything in this. They're screaming. They go, he's full of blood. He goes, "I want Richie." Now, the other kid working here, his name was Richie Rossi. So I turned to Richie. I go, "Richie, I think he wants you. You better go see what he wants." He goes, "I don't think so. I think he wants you." I'm like, oh, shit. I rip my apron off. I grab a cleaver, and I run out. He turns and starts to run away, and my uncle had this big picture window with a custom curved glass in it, you know, and I'm like, oh please! As he's running out, my uncle screams, "No, not my window!" Bang! He crushes the whole window with the machete, and I'm like, you shit stain! I'm so screwed now, you know. So I run out in the street. He's running, and two cops from Benny that were eating in Benny's luncheonette, they come running out. They draw their guns on the guy. They tell him, "Drop the machete." He drops the machete, and he's screaming, "Look what he done, look what he done, look what he done." I said, "He's nuts. This guy's nuts. I'm working in the butcher shop. What do you mean, look what they done?" You know? So they put him in handcuffs. So I don't know what they did. They never asked me to press charges, and I wouldn't anyway. I mean, you know, I'm not that kind of character. I don't really give a shit. You know? I don't want to see the kid get in trouble. Even though I'll give him a beating. But and that was it. I mean, they you know, I listen. they took him away. My uncle blamed me. I said, "You got insurance. Stop crying like a baby." They had to put plywood on the window and everything, So I didn't have a clue what was going on anymore. Anyway, in my life, I knew what was going on. Whatever I was doing was working. It worked. I found I gave at them certain moments. I had joy and pleasure. I don't know what you think of it, and I listen. I knew my sun was rising, and I was moving on, so, it was really pretty cool. I mean, to live that kind of life, So I rejoiced over the victory, and listen, desperate times desperate time, give the need for desperate remedies. All right, so I remedy. Yeah, whatever I did, I did it. I redeemed myself by I don't know what the hell I'm even talking about, but we'll leave it at that anyway. I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes, and I'm gonna do this shit constantly. All right, but so thanks a lot. Thanks for listening to that one. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get a kick out of it too. I do what I do. I'm testing myself all the time, because I work at it. Again, I work at it. So I test myself. Whether it's a good thing, a bad thing, what do you think it's good? I'm 76. I lived till now. Wait. You're going to be like, how did this guy live through this? How? Impossible. But I love life. I love people. I'm going to live. I'm not afraid to die, So I know what's going to happen. So I do it. I don't want to be afraid to live. I'm not going to be afraid to live, like people now say, with the pandemic. I'm not going to be afraid to live. I'm going to live. And if that kills me, then it kills me, whatever it is. All right, thanks a lot. Sorry for the screw-ups. But I'm leaving them in because I can't edit this thing. Bye.